So in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to use the Mac Photos app. So in the more recent updates of Yosemite, you'll actually have an app called Photos. This is somewhat like Photoshop, but it's a little bit more organized like Lightroom. So I'm going to be showing you some of the ins and outs of this app just to show you exactly what you can do with it and why it's so powerful and why I use it. So firstly, what you're going to want to check is what update you're currently running. So I'm actually running one of the latest updates, which is 10.10.5. I'm not exactly certain when this update came out, but it was quite recent anyway. Okay, so after checking that, we can actually go and find the Photos app. So if you have got some of the recent updates, then you should have this on your Mac. So if I just go to the launch pad, you'll actually find this icon, which is just like a flower with a white background on it, and just click on that to open it up. So then you'll be greeted with this screen, so it'll have like all your photos in it if you've used it before, and if you haven't, then this will most likely be blank. So firstly, because this is the first thing that you'll be introduced with, I thought I'd show you exactly what this does. So this is basically just a timeline. So if you have an iPhone, then you're probably realizing what this is and what this does. So you will actually have all these images in a timeline, because most up-to-date cameras will have like the time and a date when this was actually taken, so it'll just organize it very simply for you. So there's actually different ways you can actually view your photos. This is the weekly view, and if you pinch out with your trackpad, then you can actually see the monthly view. I'm not going to scroll up because there's some weird photos. And if you pinch out once more, then it'll take you to the yearly view, where you can actually jump to specific photos that you want to look at. Okay, so you might actually be wondering, how do I even get these photos here in the first place? Well, that's really simple. You can do this through iCloud. I don't actually personally use iCloud, but if you're the avid Apple user, then you're most likely using iCloud to back up some of your photos. But if you're not and you're like me, then you can use an SD card. So by just inserting your SD card, it'll all pop up in image capture. Just click out of that. We don't need image capture. What we need to go to is the new tab that is introduced into Photos, which is import. This is where you can import all your videos and images at the same time. So if you want specific videos, then all you have to do is click on an image whilst holding Command. Then you can see this box has been highlighted, so it'll import only the ones that you have selected. Or if you've got new videos that you want to import, then just import all of the new videos. There's also an option to delete the items after you import them. So this is really good instead of formatting your card each time, because that's what I have to do most of the time. So this works the exact same way with the images. Just click on some of the images that you want to import, and once again you can just import them again in the same way. So you're probably wondering where your images have gone to. That's really simple. If you go over to the Photos tab once again, then they will be back in the timeline. It would have organized it all for you. But if you also go to Albums and Last Import, you'll find all your recently imported pictures, videos, whatever you've imported. Also, when you're importing, you can also import from a micro USB cable or a lightning connector or something along the lines of a cable. You don't just have to use an SD card, so don't worry about that. Okay, so you're probably wondering why this is comparable to Photoshop and Lightroom. Well, you've seen the Lightroom aspects of it where you can organize all your photos and you can put them into albums, but why is it like Photoshop? Well, I'll show you why. Okay, so if I just jump to a random image, let's say this one, then I can actually edit this image. So one of the first things that you might have actually noticed on one of these images, that they have some love hearts on them. So if you have an iPhone, then you'll probably notice why you have this. So I'll show you exactly what these mean. So if you jump back over to the Albums tab and then you go over to the Favorites album, then this is where all your favorite images will drop into. And you can come back to your favorite images. So to favorite an image, you literally just go onto an image, say this one for instance, then just click the favorite button. It's that simple. Okay, so we'll jump back to our image, and one of the things you might actually notice is this J in the corner. So there's something a little bit special about Mac Photos is that it actually supports RAW files. So I use RAW files quite a lot, so this is very handy for me. One other thing, whilst you're actually looking at a photo, is you can actually look at the information of this photo. So you can actually see what camera was used, when this was taken, what aperture, all sorts of settings to do with your camera. So if you're using an iPhone, then this will all pop up in here. Most likely will with any other mobile device or anything else like that. It'll just pick out all of the data that was used to capture that image, and it'll just pop it into here. Also from here, you can favorite your image as well. You can also add a face, so I don't mean like the emojis. I mean, this is like the Facebook thing where you import a photo and it detects someone's face. This works basically the same way. Okay, so enough with the information, let's actually get into the editing stage. So if you go over to the top right hand corner, you can see the edit button where you can edit this photo. So from here you can actually see some very friendly options that you'll see like on an iPhone or an iPad or something to do with Apple kind of device. Okay, so there's something very simple you can do straight off the bat, which is enhance the image. So all you have to do is click the enhance button and it'll just sort out some of the levels just to make your picture look prettier. There's also the rotate option, so if you've got a landscape image and you want to make it portrait, then you can easily do that. There's also the crop button, so if you ever wanted to crop your image, then that's pretty simple. You just drag in the parameters, or you can do it by an aspect. So if you wanted to do 1:1, if you wanted to put this on Instagram, then you could easily do that. You can also change the angle of the image, so maybe it's a bit crooked and you want to straighten it up a bit. You can literally just do that with this circle. Okay, so once that's done, you can just click off the crop tool and it will have cropped your image. Also on the right hand side, you'll notice the filters tab. So this is very much similar to iPhones and iPads and everything like that. You can just change through all of the filters just so you have a different look each time. Also, there's an adjustments tab here, so you can actually do the exact same as what you'd find on an iPhone and iPad. You can change the light levels, which will change all sorts of different parameters of your image. There's also the color levels, but you can just literally make some fine-tune adjustments. There's also the retouch tab, so if you've got something in your image that you don't like, maybe it's this flag, then you can actually change the size of your brush that you're going to use and you can literally just paint something out. Doesn't want to paint that bit out though. Okay, so you're probably wondering, where's the raw image support? This is very simple, but it's not that easy to find. All you have to do is right click on your image and use raw as original. This will change your image to a raw image and your raw image will pop up. So you can still do the exact same adjustments that you did with the JPEG images. This is just a little bit more easier to use because you have more values and the picture's not condensed. Okay, so now that you've actually edited some of your awesome pictures, then you're probably going to want to know how to export them. So this is very simple. All you have to do is use the click and drag feature. So if you wanted all of your images, then press Command A, or specific images, then just click on the images whilst pressing Command. Then all you have to do is go up to File, Export. This is where you can export the images that you selected, or all of them if that's the case. Or you can export the unmodified original, so this will be without all the adjustments that you did. Maybe you wanted to take it into Photoshop, you can do that. So I'm just going to do the export 5 images. So from here you have a couple of different values that you can mess with, so you can change the actual photo kind to a TIFF or a PNG, but I'm just going to leave it as a JPEG. You can also pick the quality, so from here I would probably recommend the maximum quality because anything that you upload these images to will most likely downgrade the quality, but it won't downgrade the quality that's already in the Photos app. They will keep the originals in there. So you can also pick the size, so if you wanted to make this image smaller, then you can actually do that from here. But I'm just going to keep it on full size. You can also make a custom value as well. So for the info, you can actually keep the title, the keywords and the description. So if you wrote a description on one of your images, then you can actually keep that on here as well. You can also attach location information. So if you wanted to put this on Facebook, it would automatically detect where you took that image. Also with file naming, you can actually use the file's name, or you can use the sequential title name. So that would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can literally just use the title that it comes with. You can also put these into a folder as well, so I would recommend this because it'll sort it out into dates. So if you're exporting multiple images, then it'll put them in different dates for you, so it's a lot more simpler to organize. So after you've sorted out all of that, all you have to do is export. So from here you can actually export it to wherever you need, so I'm just going to export it to my desktop. So from here, if you go over to your notifications tab, it'll actually tell you the export status. So from here it says that my export is complete. So if I go over to my desktop, I will find these images. So clicking on a folder, you'll actually see the images that were selected and exported. Okay, so jumping back into photos, we're going to look at just one more thing, which is how to create albums and all sorts of other things that you want to create. So say I wanted to create an album for this, then I can literally just select all the images that I wanted to. Then if you go over to the little plus symbol in the top right hand corner, you can create an album or a slideshow or a print project just by clicking this button. So from here you can make a smart album or just a normal album. So a smart album is a little bit smarter than a normal album. So if you have like different images from different cameras, then it'll put it all into one folder because it knows what these pictures look like. So it's instead of you sorting it out, the computer will sort it out. Sometimes it's not completely accurate though, just be warned. You can also make a book. I don't really know what book does. You can also make a calendar photo, just like I mentioned earlier. You can also make cards. So these are literally cards. So if you had a printer, then you could probably print these out. You can also make a slideshow, so if you wanted to show someone your holiday experience, then this is how you do it. And you can also print your images off just like you would print a normal image off. So just creating an album is simple. You just literally click create album. So from here you can actually put your images into an existing album, or you can create a new album just like I'm going to, and you can create this as bike. I don't know how to spell. And if you go back over to your albums, then you'll actually be able to find that album and you'll be able to do everything that you would normally do. So from here, there's something that's a little bit nifty about this, and you can actually put like the thumbnail or the key moment, as Apple calls it. And this is actually like the thumbnail of your album art. So if you just click on one of the photos that you like, maybe it's this one, then you can literally make the key photo, that image. Then when you come back, that will be your key photo. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps this up. So I've been using this for quite a while now, and I found it really handy. I was quite skeptical about it because I didn't really know what it did. But if you've got a really big hard drive in your computer, then maybe this is quite handy for you, because I use RAW and JPEG at the same time, so it definitely takes up the space. There is a way of doing that where you can import all your images like to a different hard drive or something like that. If you go over to photos in the top left hand corner and go to preferences, then you can actually put the library location. So I actually have like 2 hard drives in my computer, so I have it go into the second one. You can use that as a system library instead of clogging up your main hard drive. So if you had an external, then you could put it onto there, and when it detects like new images, you can put it straight onto there. So I think that pretty much wraps this up. So yeah, if you have any more burning questions, then be sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see more tutorials like this, then do let me know. So there we go, we learnt how to import your images, how to actually edit the images and what you can actually do with them, and how to export them, and that pretty much covers everything that we need to do today. So I will see you guys in the next episode.